I start every conversation with a new student in my practice this way. I'm going to ask you a question completely out of the blue. And I say, are you ready? And they say, yes. And I'll say, have you ever heard of a shooting star before? And almost all kids, frankly, all kids I've ever met, all say, yeah, I've heard of a shooting star. And then I quickly say, a shooting star isn't actually a star, because you want to preempt any possible mistake a student might make, because a student might think that a shooting star is actually a star. So before we lead them astray, we want to clarify the direction of the conversation. Now, most kids will say, oh, I know that. I know a shooting star isn't really a star. And I'll say, oh, that's great. That's right. And then I'll say, what do you know about shooting stars or meteors, which is a technical name, I'll say. And they'll say, oh, I know all about meteors. And often they do. Or often they'll say, oh, really? A shooting star is called a meteor? And I'll say, yes. Isn't that interesting? And I'll say, rub your hands together. And they'll start going like this. I say, good. I say, faster. And they'll go faster. And they'll say, what do you feel? And they say, heat. And I'll say, fantastic. How come? And it's amazing. So many children know, even very young children, they know the word friction. Sometimes I'll say, I don't know. I don't know why I feel. And it leads to a great conversation about friction. Oh, it's something called friction. Whenever two things rub past one another, they tend to generate heat. And at any rate, they generate so much heat, these little bits of metal and rock, that they heat up to about 4,000 degrees, and they leave a streak of light in the night sky. And it looks like a star, but it's not a star at all. It's these little bits of metal and rock. Almost always, a shooting star will burn up in the night sky. But every now and then, it's very, very rare, every now and then a shooting star will actually land on the earth. And it's very, very rare, but occasionally someone will actually find one. And it so happens, I have one here. And I show them my shooting star, my meteorite. And they go like that. And I hand it to them, and they take it. And it's a wonderful moment because it creates the connection that we need to then have a conversation.